host only. Uh, Let everybody in. Right, so we've got the last 2 days of September here. Let's make sure they are a good last 2 days. Right. Let's just check the chat quickly. Uh, Steve, hey. T, hey. I'm good, thank you. Very, very good. A little bit tired. A little bit tired this morning, but you know what? We're gonna smash it. Right. So let's right, everything's all sorted. We are recording. So right, Monday morning, London session. First things first, what you always do, check to see if there's any, news. We mentioned last night on the Sunday live about, what we want to be looking out for and, how we can obviously capitalize on it. So you obviously need to be aware of it. You can take your time to obviously understand. I think personally in fundamentals, you just got to spend time just reading through, have a look at history. But obviously, we don't have a lot here. I'm going to post later on today. I'm going to find it out. There's a chart, and it will tell you every kind of member of any, banking system, and it will obviously tell you whether they are normally hawkish, optimistic, or normally dovish. So it'd be quite interesting today because it's predominantly speakers. So as there's no real news here to kind of move anything, we got Trump speaking later. Well, chances are we're going to be out of a trade anyway, so we don't have to worry about that. Um, so, well, when there's no, kind of hard data to move anything, to change anything, to, change expectations, it is all about expectation and optimism. All right. So that's what today is going to be based on. Now, let's just have a look before we start looking into our actual entries. There's a few pairs which I'm interested in, and I'll explain those. I've tightened up my entries too. So you're going to see a lot of a tighter week this week. So let's go on to the US dollar. All right, let's see obviously what has happened. We spoke yesterday about being stuck in this consolidation, zone here. As you can see, weekly we've had some huge wicks to the upside and to the downside, but nothing's really broken out yet. So we obviously need to be aware of that when we're trading. So currently trading around 98. I always recommend you obviously mark up every 500 because it will react to this level here. So let's just change this now and let's change this one. I like it. I've got a bit of OCD on the charts, I'm not going to lie. So change that on there. There we go. And let's make this green. So then at least we know. Right, this is obviously our weekly consolidation here. So we're obviously not going to judge this consolidation box until the week is over. I think we could be breaking out of this week to the up to the upside. We've obviously got non-farm payroll Friday. Everything for the US dollar really kicks off on really starts to kick off on about Wednesday. So then you want to be looking into right, where is money, flowing, all right, right now, and obviously this is London Open. We've obviously still got technically an hour of London Open, but we would say that there's a bit of reserve here. Yes, we got the stock market up, but then we've obviously got yields down, and we've got the US dollar 0.2% down. I actually think this is going to recover today, but obviously let's wait and see. We've also got gold, another printed all-time high, so that gets rid of this one here. Printed all-time. It's just crazy. Gold is just you just want to carry on buying it. We mentioned the three potential areas where we would be looking to buy. However, I do think this might come down and test this previous high here. So let's wait and see. Dollar here needs to break through 98 again. When you're trading, I always recommend look at the DXY, all right? Because you've got obviously this 98 area here. Yeah. Now, we want to know if we're going to break through and this is going to become support to try and obviously make it as basic as possible, or if this is going to continue and obviously be resistance here. So, this is just as important as looking at the pair you're trading. You got to remember every pair is, made up of the two US dollar pairs. And obviously, I'll give you the calculation. So, even like AUD the price is made up of AUD USD and USD JPY. So, everything, revolves around the US dollar in Forex. So if you are, not obviously on it in regards to where it is, if you don't know where any of your pairs are, just know obviously where US dollar is trading, because obviously that's going to help you. Right, looking into what am I looking at this morning? This was obviously a euro long term, setup we were looking at. I like euro USD. I'll tell you where I want to sell from. I want to sell from here. I want to have a nice 15 pip stop and I want to have a 30 pip take profit. So we're going to go for a one to two. We're going to start it steady. All right. So this is one that I am looking at. This is one that I'm interested in, and this is one that we can hopefully capitalize on. That is what I like the look of here. So I'm going to move this a little bit before so we know, but that is one that I really, really like the look of, works in regards to my overall, setup, what works in regards to everything. USD CAD was one, but I'm going to be quite strict, in regards to what I'm trading, how I'm trading. So I probably won't be taking this one here. I do think this will push up. I think what's going to end up happening, we're going to come in and test these lows one more time and then push up to this area. I'm going to leave that one on and then we'll see what it looks like later on. So let's mark this one with like a green. Let's mark it with a green. So I'm also going to put that on there like that so we know what's going down here. So we've then obviously got AUD USD. There was this optimism, but I don't like the look of that one. Pound, I don't like it. Um, USD Swiss, again, same thing. NZD. Gold here, like I said, one thing we need to be aware of, we've broken out of these Asian highs. All right, so this highlighted zone here, this is Asia. All right, now we've broken out of Asia. So this can obviously mean one of two things. 100% this high will get tested, which is obviously what is happening. And this is going to be this is going to be pivotal here, pivotal, right? In regards to Asia, sometimes you get this fake out, drives all the buyers in, and then obviously you get a crush to the downside, or it just holds, and we get this nice continuation. So, but this is going to be the kind of key level here that we're going to be looking for. USD JPY, yen pair's not really interested. Yen, if we're going to grade stuff. Obviously, yen is up on everything. All right. So JPY would be our top performing pair, followed by AUD, all our commodity based, kind of assets here. We've obviously got pound, which is interesting. Pound's performing pretty well. We've then got someone's joining. We've then got NZD. We've then got Swiss. We've then got NZD. Swiss. We've then got Euro, CAD, and then the US dollar. So that's obviously our pairs graded from strongest to weakest. Now, when you're grading your pairs, you obviously don't want to, worry too much about it not changing. Oh, second coffee of this morning, so let's go. Hopefully it kicks in soon. But you obviously do need to be aware of it. So you obviously want, if you can be pairing up against any of these here, you obviously want to be. favoring the stronger pair. And until you can kind of get to like this area where, it's kind of middle of the range here. So for example, if we were to look at these are two pairs that obviously I've highlighted. They might not come into fruition yet, but obviously I'm just waiting to see what is happening here. So either way, I'm not really worried. But obviously, things can change throughout the, session, but you just need to be aware of, when you're entering a trade, what the current kind of, strength is. Because just marking these out, we're always trying to find five reasons to obviously enter a trade. Just marking it out. So, say for example, you were looking to trade USD JPY to the downside, all right, favoring yen. This would be one of your confluences, all right, because you've calculated, you've obviously used the data, and yen is a lot stronger than the US dollar, so obviously you can utilize that, in regards to yeah, entering your trade. So, if this always works out, that's one confluence you don't even have to worry about. So just, be aware of that. AUD JPY, I do like this. I want it to come back. I want it to stay below and then come back. We're gonna be very strict this week. All right. We're gonna trade one to twos. We're not gonna push it. There was a couple of trades we tried to push a bit hard. Um, Another one too would be NZD JPY. I'd like to enter from here if we get the breakout to the downside. So let me just hold off on this one. But if we get this breakout to the downside, then we're going to be looking to take this trade. Then obviously got Euro AUD breaking out very, nicely here. However, I'm still not 100% sold on that one. GBP AUD also, I'd like this trading to the upside here. However, obviously, I know that AUD, is pretty strong, and if obviously dollar weakness continues, then we're obviously going to struggle to obviously uh, capitalize on it. So that'll be one that I'll be holding off on. GBP NZD again that doesn't quite line up. GBP CAD doesn't line up. Euro CAD. Again, this will be one that we are looking into. It just depends on, how this continuation carries on. We've obviously got a nice little channel here trending, so you always have to be aware of what you're trending, but what you're trading, and obviously what brick walls it's got to go through. And obviously we're currently trading in this consolidation, which is pretty much, London Open range here, where you always want to look out for these. This would be the easiest kind of setup for any beginner to trade. All right, you want to look for price moving up, right? And then you want some sideways movement like this, right? And then all you're waiting for is either a break to the upside or a break to the downside. It's very easy. Um, so I'll show you an example of this. So we've obviously had this huge move here. We've had a pullback here, right? You would have drawn your top, drawn your bottom. Oh, let's just do that again. Drawn your bottom there. Right now, all you're doing here is just waiting for a breakout, re retest, and obviously that's what happens there. Look at that candle there, beautiful. All right, so anyone struggling with entries, just reduce them, and obviously look for setups like this because there will not be a easier beginner friendly strategy. It's very easy to kind of capitalize on. You can see it there, you can see it here, right? You can see it here. You're just waiting for price to kind of bunch up where it's not really making its mind up, and obviously then you'll get that nice continuation there. All right, so it's very easy to trade, but this would be one that we're going to be looking at here. If we break out to the upside, let's just have a look at NZD JPY. Not hit yet. Right, this one is in play. This is in play. So let's wait and see how this one plays out. This is in play for us. Just have a look at Euro USD. So we're breaking through. Mm, just I just don't like this candle here. It's a horrible one. So we'll wait and see obviously what happens here. I want to see this channel react, and then we can see what we're going to be trading here. We did mention this last night. I went through this pair of detail in detail. We've obviously got, this long-standing channel here, and we've got a monthly key level here too, so it'll be quite interesting to, see obviously how this reacts here. But that has bulleted up. And obviously, if we look at the dollar, we're getting this nice continuation here. So let's wait and see, obviously, how this one plays out. USD CAD broken out to the downside. Again, we just need to wait and see what's going to happen. I'm going to play everything a bit more patient. I don't want to rush in. Um, I do like probably ADJPY the most out of all of them. I want to see this come back into this area, and then I want to capitalize on it to the downside here. So let's wait and see. Um, yeah, apart from that, I'm pretty good. NZDJPY. I'm probably going to monitor this. And obviously, like I said, if we get this breakout, I'll be looking for this trade here. So if we were to do 150, no, sorry, 300, and then 150. All right. So this is obviously what I want everyone to get in a habit of doing, in regards to, even if you've got all of these, everyone says, oh, do you trade all of these pairs? Answer is no. But obviously, what I do every single trading, session is I will be looking to kind of, to capitalize on, honing them down into say three or four entries. All right. I actually think that this one's going to break to the downside. I would rather have this trade here because I think there's more room. I really like Euro USD if this holds. We've obviously got a very, very strong area here. So these are obviously the trades which I am looking at. Not NZD JPY is not triggered yet, but obviously AUD JPY has. I want it to come back into this area. I want it to trigger, and then I want to capitalize on a downward move here. Euro, I probably like the most if this holds, right? If this holds, then yes, we will we'll be looking to enter this. I want this to, this monthly and this channel here to act as resistance, and I'd like to see on the 15-minute. I'd like to see this breakdown below, but it's all going to depend on the dollar. All right, are we gonna let's have a look at this on an hourly? Is this, like I mentioned on um Euro CAD, is this going to start to consolidate here? Is this going to push up and finish it here? If so, we might be coming back up to test this 98. If we break below, chances are we might come down and test this area here. All right. So there's a few things to keep an eye out on. There's a few things to, look at here. ADJPY, I do like the look of that. Euro CAD, I would rather trade this to the downside here. If we do have that nice breakout, then obviously, yeah, I'd love to be trading it from here. And I'd love to, again, we're just going to get into a bit of a strict routine this week. That would be what I would prefer to trade. However, I'd also be happy if we broke through, and then we came back and obviously this channel here, and obviously kept on trading to the upside. What you've always got to be looking for is where is support and where is resistance. If we, break through, then obviously this becomes, resistance. And obviously this becomes resistance to the average volume of Asia, so you've almost got a nice brick wall here. Yeah, and then obviously price will break through and then almost ricochet it. Those games where you have to ping the tiny marbles off the walls. That's how you've got to, to think about trading. And again, if you break through, we've obviously got it the other way. Yeah, so that's how again you got to think about trading. If you ping a marble up against this, there's more chance it's going to ricochet off than smash through it. So we're always trying to trade those highest probabilities. I think yours going to start to move down. This is what we were looking for overall. Yeah. 5 minute. Look at this nicely rejecting this, monthly here. There might be an entry here for us. So just to make everyone aware. But we've got to wait for this 15-minute candle to close. So that would be what I'd be looking for. AUD, JPY, Euro CAD, and let's go with Euro USD. All right, these are my three hot picks of this morning. USD CAD was one, but it's broken out the opposite direction, so I'm not really interested. But these three are my hot picks of this morning: Euro USD, AED JPY, and Euro CAD. Let's just have a quick look at gold for everyone. Yeah, again, let's play the marble game. All right, so we've obviously got this is our probably only realistic, wall here is Asia, and then obviously we've got, I mean, yeah, that would be my only kind of realistic wall here would be Asia, and then obviously this volume here, and then obviously the previous high, so potentially if we break out, if we smash through this wall here, it will act then as resistance, and then obviously we should come into this area here. All right. So sometimes if you really try and simplify trading, it's obviously a lot easier. Um, T, amazing start to the morning. 150 pips on gold. Well done. Would you not say AUD JPY is in a downward channel on the 1 hour? So it's perfect place to buy. Well, if AUD is on a downward channel, why would you buy it? All right. This is one thing about, trading, which, look at trend. All right. And I promise you, if there's one thing that I could tell you, don't go against trend, Don't go against trend. You're obviously looking to buy because there is, support there. That's cool. I could get that, but obviously remember here we're obviously in a downtrend. So, how if we're in a downtrend, how are you ever gonna judge where where this downward leg is gonna end, whereas if you notify, and gold is a very good example of this, at the moment is, gold, you will not go wrong trying to buy it. All right, you just got to buy it from the right areas, like we've highlighted. We can now kind of add in this area too. Yeah, change that to purple. We can now add in this area here. If you're only looking to buy gold, you're not going to go wrong right now because where's it trending to the upside? All right, so just be aware of that. It's the most, probably important aspect. Trade with the trend, and then it'll, help you. So let's just have a look at this again. Euro. JPY, like I mentioned, Where did we want this to end? I want this to be back in this box here within the next kind of 5 minutes, and then if it is, we're going to be we're going to be looking to sell it. All right. So these are obviously all things that we need to be aware of. So if does anyone have any questions before we go? I'll just do one last, rundown because obviously I've changed this group. We go live only. So obviously, everyone needs to be aware of that. We will only enter a trade that we discuss on here. All right, so we've got Euro USD, we've got AUD JPY, which I really, really like the look of, and then we got Euro CAD. All right, which we're obviously not entering yet. We want to see this happen. These are our three trades that we are interested in. Um, why do you use JPY as a reference to ranking your pairs? Right, I don't, but it's the only group where I've got everything in, So obviously, if everything's in, it's very easy, for obviously me to have everything there. If I had USD JPY and my dollar crosses, then obviously I would use that, to obviously judge. But this is every single currency we've got here, and it's very easy for obviously me to grade them very, very quickly. And then if you look, across it. So if we look, I don't know if I've still got it on or if I've deleted it. Yeah, there we go. If we look across the board here, even against, so Aussie is up against dollar. Pound is the, next strongest. We then got NZD, which is 24%. So euros, climbing. All right, euro would be climbing, Swiss, so everything here is up against the dollar. The closest one is 0.1%, which would be CAD, so you can kind of work it out. Okay, so you can sort the table by percentage change. Yes, but just be aware that it can change, at any time. But just I would once you get quite quick at it, just practice because just before you're going to enter a trade, you can then obviously have a look and utilize it, and then this is your extra confluence. All right. So I hope everyone's enjoyed this. And yeah, I'll be back at 2 p.m. Obviously, I'm going to post what we enter in the inner circle, but we're going to have Euro USD potentially. Might have to monitor this for a bit longer. AUD JPY potentially, and Euro CAD potentially. So let's wait and see. Have a good one, guys. I hope everybody has a great day today. Thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. That would be brilliant. I'm gonna post this on Instagram. So everybody go boop. Nice, 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 nice. Have a good one, guys.